Okay, so this is the Masonic Roundtable Google chat, and I have it paused here because basically what these Freemasons are doing, and these are, I think one's a Lodge Master, well, one's an actual Grand Master, but he doesn't say it. A couple of them are Taskmasters, and they're different lodges around the country. Okay, actual Freemasons. And I've listened to these guys for hours, okay, and I've known a lot of Freemasons, and I'm pretty sure these guys are actual Freemasons. And what they're doing is they're about to be, well, see this guy here, Wake the Sheeple? What he does is he makes fun of the people who are subscribed to the other conspiracy channels, the fake flat earth channels that want to get you to turn against your government just because the government needs secrecy. And because, frankly, America, being a very young country, doesn't really have much claim to whether or not the world thinks the world is flat or round. And I don't know if y'all realize this, but NASA didn't send the first man into space. NASA didn't send the first satellite into space. NASA faked the moon landing because NASA was getting its ass kicked. Okay? It's not that hard to figure out. So, one of the main things that people talk about with the Illuminati is the Rothschilds. All these conspiracies are centered around the Rothschilds being a connection to the royal family and people that fucking take over, want to destroy religion, blah blah blah. When actually its only connection to anything powerful is the meaning of the word Rothschild is actually a shield for the Reds. You know, red Rothschild. And let's see, what else can... I remember Roth can mean a few things, but... the fact of the matter is, coming from an area where you can actually see what the red shield looks like. The little red two-headed dragon on top and everything. It's not hard to figure out. These things aren't hard to figure out. You don't have to, like, speculate. You don't have to sit there and watch hour-long documentaries showing people in crappy graphics saying that they're shape-shifting demons and shit like that. So, here are, Freemasons, and one of them is pretending to be a conspiracy theorist. And what they're doing is they're making fun of you. And they're gonna say a few things that I find to be a little bit revealing, a little bit enlightening, and things that you can look up and find out that they are in fact true.
Sure. One question I have is, at what point did the Rothschilds join the Illuminati? Because that's one that I've read many, many times.
Okay, so the Rothschilds, like that, Meyer Amschel, at this point in time, like that, he's doing lending and stuff like that in Frankfurt, like in the ghettos. So he's not a Freemason. He would never have been in the system, and he really didn't even come into his own until speculation, or at least the popular lore goes. You know, what amount of that's true, I couldn't tell you. But he doesn't come into his own until speculating on that Battle of Waterloo is when he's supposed to come into that. So we're talking, 40 years later.
So he didn't get any inside information about Waterloo 40 years previous?
Yes, in fact, he was predicting the future with a Ouija board, and he consulted his magic crystals, and it found true.
That's what I wanted to hear. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So when it was...
I don't know what he's going to ask Ness. I haven't watched the rest of this, but that little part about the Rothschilds was priceless.
Absorbed back into Masonry. What I've also heard is that they then were able to take the 33rd degree, which, as you know, is the highest degree in Masonry, and they were able to hide themselves
laughing.
there to continue controlling government, particularly the French government.
Well, as far as like the stories goes, them going into Freemasonry proper and absorbing all these things and causing the French Revolution. There's two books. There's Proofs or Memoirs on the History of Jacobinism by Abby Barrell, and then there's Proofs of a Conspiracy, and they're the ones that kind of established for their own reasons that somehow or another the Freemasonry is connected to the French Revolution, and therefore the Jacobins like that they're all for killing people and decapitating the kings and queens and overthrowing all the governments and religions and things like that around the world. And really, that's kind of like where a lot of these ideas come from, are those two books in particular.
That brings a good point.
But wait, I thought the Freemasons were killing the royals in Europe, but I thought the Freemasons were behind the Vatican's power with the royals and the pudding pops, and the Jesuits and whatnot.
You have a lot of this skepticism from people of today thinking about Freemasonry as a way to rid people of the connection with religion and the connection with some of the religious organizations. That seems to be one of the attacks that at least I hear being recurrent. So I can't understand the threat that a religious organization would feel by another organization saying, listen, you don't have to look at this religion in order for you to be moral, for you to be virtuous. So, I like seeing those parallels. What's happening today with people blaming us, as Freemasons for trying to get the world rid of religion, supposedly. And back then, people looking at them with suspicion as well. So, that leads me to the question, one of the questions that I had for you. I have seen some things mentioned. Unfortunately, I can't find any reputable source about it. The connection between the Society of Jesus and the Bavarian Illuminati.
Here we go,
Jesuits.
The Jesuits.
Yeah, so I already know where you're going with this one. So Adam
Sweet.
Weishaupt, if you keep in mind, Bavaria at this point in time, like in the in the 1770s or so, when Adam Weishaupt's going through college, the whole education.
I just want to say, you can tell by their eyes that these people aren't reading. They're going off of memory and thought.
System is controlled by the Jesuit order, right? Okay, so he on the one hand, like that, it's very good at teaching. On the other hand, it's not very good in the sense that it's highly restrictive. They're very controlling with their information. A lot of the popular philosophy wasn't available to people. Their style of teaching wasn't really teaching per se. It was more like rote memorization, very dogmatic, very rigid, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the restrictions and the censored books and what have you, he basically sees them as being very dark. On the other hand, he sees their system as being very effective. So the early model of the system, kind of like how Knigge, he gets the idea. Hang on a second here. He gets the idea to copy the strict observance and reform that. Well, Adam Weishaupt, he's brought up under the education of Jesuits, so he models the structure of his order on the Jesuit order.
Gotcha. So it's
That's the
definitely
connection.
influenced.
Yeah, it's an influence, but so the Jesuits would have like confessions, right? So it would be a means of intelligence gathering, kind of keeping up on your people and also knowing what's going on in your province, right? Well, the same thing with the Illuminati. They would do this Kibos Nichet is what they call it, and it was the write kind of system where it's like, write down all the things you thought of this month, all these noble ideas, people you think might want to come in the order. Do you have any complaints against your superiors? If so, what are they? That kind of thing. So it's like it's intel gathering. That was what the whole one of the reasons why he copied that system.
And what they're talking about here is the historical Illuminati order, which was basically a independently founded group of Freemasons that said we can better ourselves without God. Okay, and it wasn't until much later that things got, unified in some kind of fictional storytelling. But in large part. And you can go ahead and watch this for yourself. I highly recommend it. There is no major connection between Jesuits, Illuminati, Freemasonry, all this bullshit, the Vatican. Now, I'm sure on different levels these people have associations because, you know, organizations often do. And as far as structure and symbolism and practice goes, well, you heard right there what's generally true with any organization is that it learns from and adopts things from previous organizations, and basically this is the fundamental means to competency. You know, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat its mistakes. Well, if you don't want to be a naive, make up everything as you go type person prone to learning from error after error, you adopt previously known systems. And adopting previously known symbols not only helps you identify which ideals of those previously known systems that you've adopted, but it can also help public relations. It can also help, you know, get the attention of the people that you want to get the attention of. It doesn't necessarily mean that there is a conscious conspiracy. Now, whether behind the scenes and the seams there is a demonic conspiracy, well, that's what I teach about on this channel. The fact of the matter is, people who want you to go hating human beings, you always need to be aware of them, okay? Because especially as a Christian, your job is to be a spiritual light unto them. You can't be a spiritual light unto people by accusing them of being evil and wanting to kill everybody and whatever. But fuck. Well, I thought this was a nice treat. I hope you enjoyed it and found it illuminating. Yeah. Cough, cough. Plop, plop. Fizz, fizz. Oh, what a wonderful conspiracy it is. Thanks, everybody. Like and subscribe. Peace.